All right, man. Episode 16 after some delays. My fault. Hey, by the way, I'm Jason.
And I'm Dan, and I think we have our good, subservient master of snake oil with us today for a change. But I don't think we didn't bring him on to talk about snake oil because he's been lazy and not done any snake oil reviews recently.
Well,
I'm on a diet for snake oil right now. Doctor says it's bad for my stress levels and arteries.
I'll tell you what's bad for my stress levels and arteries is scientific and technological illiteracy. So that brings us to our topic for episode 16. And our good friend the Sultan sent out a tweet this week that I saw. And this goes back to some conversations we had in prior episodes, particularly around when I asked the question about having the rovers on Mars. And you had made the comment, and what the fuck have they done for us? And of course, NASA had that great announcement earlier this week where they discovered over 1,000 more exoplanets, several of which are in habitable zones. That's a huge announcement. But I have a question about that for us, but I'll lead us in. So you sent this tweet out that you have Hulu and Roku or what the fuck ever, but you don't like that your TV has internet access.
Yeah, so I have a new 4K 48-inch Samsung awesome TV with, I'm really happy with it. The resolution is fantastic, and some of the features on it are absolutely awesome. However, I don't like the fact that there's a lot of extra connectivity going on with my television. You see,
Wait, explain in detail. What do you mean by connectivity?
Well, for one, every once in a while when I'm watching just, some bullshit show on cable or whatever, or I'm playing a video game on my Xbox or whatever it is I'm doing, I get something in the top right-hand corner of my screen that says Samsung Extra. And I went to go press it just to see what the fuck it was and see how I can get rid of it. And it started providing a shit ton of content related to the show or media that I was watching, regardless on what platform it was. Even the cable box itself that isn't physically a part of the television, just connected through HDMI. It was still able to receive that signal, find out what the fuck it was I was watching, and tell me too much information about the damn show.
Well, wait, I mean, by virtue of its purpose as a device, it already knows what you're watching, right? Because it's feeding you that signal.
Well, if the TV was in control of the HDMI signal, yes. Its job is just to display the output and the audio. That's all it's supposed to do. However, it seems that it's able to do a lot more than that, especially due to the fact that it has an Ethernet cable plugged up its ass.
Right, because you have a smart TV, right?
Yes. So,
So wait, I have a question then. So,
yeah.
Because I have a smart TV, I have an LG. So if you have a smart TV, and I'm assuming you bought it in part because it is a smart TV, right?
No, actually, I was browsing around for 1080p TVs, trying to find a good deal for a decent size, and I came across a bit of an impasse between a 1080p Sony that was 50 inches or a 48-inch that was 4K. And I debated it for a couple of days, talked it over with the woman who's essentially in control of all of the finances in the house, and we had a choice. They were the same price, roughly, give or take like $20, free shipping, all that jazz. So it was ultimately buy a dumb TV with lower resolution or buy a smart TV and get 4K content, which at the time I was a little hesitant due to the fact that there's not too many providers of 4K content as far as streaming options go. Netflix has some options, Hulu has only 720p, Amazon needs to get their shit together.
Dan, do you have a smart TV?
No, I do not.
Why?
I don't feel a need for one.
So you haven't upgraded recently?
No. I mean, for me to do my streaming, I've got an Apple TV, so I can still get everything that I want through it and connect to my TV. I just haven't felt the need to do so.
No, I got the LG because I upgraded from an old plasma that was going.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, I had moved twice, and I got tired of carrying that son of a bitch. Because I don't know if you ever had a plasma, and these weren't big screens, man, but those things are heavy.
Right. See, the other thing is I keep winning TVs in the Capital Technology University golf tournament, so they're free. So I don't really need to keep doing that.
So
I'm not joking. I've won 3 TVs from the Capital Technology University golf tournament. So And actually one of them is still in the box.
See, this is why you're a hobbit. It's shit like that right there that makes me call you a hobbit.
I win them with skill. It's a
donate the fucking thing to like charity or something.
I'm not a charitable person.
Evidently.
No.
All right, so back to the
I
question.
mean, I only hire people that aren't skilled to do their jobs.
So back to the question I was leading us towards. So you willingly bought a smart TV. Okay, so I bought the LG because it was smart. Because the LG had the identical version that's non-smart, at least at that point. I've had this for I think 2 years now. But you knew you were getting. So
yeah.
So it adds this metadata, right? Because obviously it knows what you're watching. It's receiving a signal, right? And that bothers you exactly why?
Stay the fuck out of my personal shit. That's my bedroom that you're listening in on. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though you can't hear my voice, you can't see what it is that I'm doing. You are gaining knowledge of shit that I am doing in my bedroom. That is a no-no for Fatboy. Like, I absolutely do not like that at all whatsoever.
Wait, back up. Because we're talking about metadata being displayed on the screen about the show you're watching.
I don't give a fuck. How the fuck is a television supposed to know that? It needs to stay the fuck up out of its business and do its job as a television and display content.
And it is about the content that you willingly turned up to.
Okay.
Right?
I hear what it is that you're saying.
Stop.
I agree.
Did you turn the TV on, yes or no?
Yes, and I physically turned it to that specific station to watch that specific channel at that specific time to watch that specific show.
So why are you mad at the TV, bro?
Because it's fucking bullshit, that's why.
Then why didn't you spend the other money to buy a TV that was not smart?
Because I wanted 4K!
But you just admitted that hardly any streaming services actually use 4K.
Flowers on Netflix are pretty, okay? So, fuck you.
Oh. So,
no, I'm being serious. Do you really think that TV's spying on you?
No, honestly, I don't think it. Because here's the thing: when I first got it, I sniffed the fuck out of it, trying to figure out what the hell it was connecting to. Ultimately, it's not the ultimate NSA gadget that everybody wishes that you installed into your house for free, or at least paid for. What it is doing is simply just it's looking at what you're watching. That's it. It's nothing intrusive. It's just. I'm very, very weary of the Internet of Things. Okay, my woman has a connected crock pot that most likely came from fucking China. I do not allow it.
For a second there, I thought you were going to start with a word one letter up in the alphabet.
No, it's got Wi-Fi. I do not allow it on my network at all.
Why?
Because you don't need to control a fucking crock pot from work, okay? It's real simple. If you've got somebody that's already at the fucking house, send me a text message. Hey, can you make sure the crock pot's got enough water? Can you make sure it's set to high, low, what the fuck ever? Turn it off. Do not control that shit from a fucking cell phone across the fucking city.
So it sounds like you have control issues.
I do, especially when it comes to the Internet of Things, okay? If I want to design a DIY smart house or smart apartment or whatever, where I get to control every aspect of it, that's fine. Send me all the data, let me manage it, let me run my life. Okay? I don't need Nest to control my temperature and fucking tell me what it is that it thinks the optimal temperature should be, or telling me if there's carbon monoxide poisoning and going to report it to the authorities immediately. It's a nice thing to have for those that care about these things, but I don't have gas in my apartment, so I don't need it.
Wait, so let's tie this into pardon me, scientific and technological literacy for a second. Do you guys remember the system called Watson that IBM pushed into Jeopardy?
Yeah, sure.
So that got turned into a medical diagnostic tool. I don't remember its name. There's several of these out there, right? And do you know these things are infinitely more accurate in their diagnostic capabilities than humans? I mean, massively more capable.
Well, yeah, if you look at it, I mean, think about what a doctor has to go through just in one day of being a doctor. There's no way.
But it's more general than that, man. It's a failure of the human condition.
I wouldn't say that. I'd just say it's an improvement upon something that we've been working so hard for in the past. I mean, okay, say you have a doctor, Okay, I used to work at a hospital here in Tucson, and I would deal with them regularly. And just to hear them talk about their day in, day out life at the hospital and off the hospital, it's constantly revolving around medicine in their practice. So for them to be able to retain as much information about their specific field of study is, one, a huge, huge accomplishment within itself. Two, for them to be able to accurately recall everything every single time is very, very difficult. So I've got to give them credit where credit's due on that one. However, a machine that has a very extensive library of, past medical cases, everything under the sun pertaining to several fields of study within medicine, it makes more sense that it can accurately go and determine, okay, these are the list of symptoms, this is what the patient is experiencing, this is what is most likely the top 3 choices. Do with this information as you will.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So let's establish something. There's no need when we're scientifically and technologically literate to shit on what's bad to glorify what's strong. That's not my purpose here. What I'm saying is those systems are infinitely more capable than a human being, even at the top of their game. And that's just a failure of the human condition. It's not a failure on those individuals' parts, right? That's just the strength of that system. And it's the strength of having access to massive amounts of data, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, would you want that tool diagnosing you?
Honestly.
As an assessment? As an assessment?
Yes. There's always human intervention. None of these systems exist in vacuums.
Absolutely. I would have it do that because it's going to provide, the we'll say the statistical analysis on the probabilities of I'm going to have X based on these symptoms. Now the human intervention comes in to validate that, which you would have anyway. Because the doctors always go and get a second, third, fourth opinions. I don't know that I would want the machine doing the operation, so to speak. If I needed to have, a bypass surgery or something like that. I'm not sure I would want that.
Now, or also in the future.
I would say right now. I would say I would not want a machine doing it. I don't speak to the future because the future is always in motion.
Oh wow.
One of the things that I learned working at a hospital was that they were constantly testing new things, especially when it came to robotics. The hospital that I worked at had a relatively cutting-edge piece of innovative technology that was specifically dealt with tumors and cancer research and removing tumors from the human body. It was, for the most part, relatively autonomous. It would read whatever data came in from the medical reports about the patient associated with this tumor, and depending on how severe the tumor was and where it was located, it required very minimal human intervention at all.
All right, so real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
So the three of us agree that as a diagnostic tool, that's a fabulous thing, right?
Yeah, for first run, sure.
All right, so why don't you want your TV recommending fucking better shows to you?
Because it's in my fucking bedroom and it creeps me out. I thought we established this. Like, if I leave my TV out in that room...
I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. It bugs the fuck out of me.
So it's your paranoia.
So why don't you move the TV out of your bedroom?
Because it's a really beautiful fucking TV.
How much time do you spend?
There's other things to do in a bedroom other than watch.
Okay, it's interesting that you say that. We got the TV so we could spend more time in the bedroom, because I'm at my desk at least a minimum of 20 hours a day. I sleep hardly never, and I practically live at this thing.
You should be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day, bro.
Should be, but let's look at reality here. I'm not. So then we got the TV, so it would encourage me coming to the bed more often.
So what do you think, Dan? Do you think, because I've told you before about, I think I've said this on air too, of this conversation I had one time with about, I don't know, 150 undergrad students about autonomous vehicles, and man, there was a lot of people, and this was a progressive group of students, and categorically they didn't want it, and the vast majority of them cited control as the reason. They didn't want autonomous vehicles at all, ever, because they didn't want to give up control of driving. Do you think that's a function of technological illiteracy?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. I think we're really close to like Jetsons. We could eliminate, like here in the DC area, it would be amazing if we could eliminate a lot of this traffic, and I think we're really damn close. Why not? Because you could start stacking the lanes of traffic instead of it just being, 4 lanes going in one direction at a time. Those lanes can be stacked, and you don't need bridges and things of that nature. It's literally, I get into the car and I say, take me home. I don't have to worry about drunk driving. Don't have to worry about any of that. Think about, I look at my life and I go, how much could I have gotten accomplished if I had someone else driving for me to and from work? I would have gotten back 10 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was more productive when I was taking the train, when I was doing a lot of work for different government agencies, taking the train into work, because even though it took me an hour and a half each way, it was an hour and a half that I was actually working. I was reading. I mean, it wasn't taking any classified data with me, but I was able to read on whatever technology that I had at my disposal in order to do things. I was getting back a lot more of my life because of that. I would absolutely love an autonomous vehicle.
Well, I mean, let's take a simple case of, like, I rode the train for years to commute because it was brutal here, and I didn't work all the time. I didn't work both ways every day, every week, every month, whatever, right? But just the improvement in quality of life, because you don't have that stress of trying to control this vehicle hurtling through space around all these other assholes, right? I mean, just the stress reduction, the accident reduction, that's a huge boon to society. So why do you think that there's still, I mean, look at what's happened with Tesla and some of the states on the southeast with the resistance to allowing Tesla to sell direct, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a form of technological and scientific illiteracy. People don't understand it like a spider, so they want to stomp it. They're afraid of it.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
One of the very first true blue electric cars that came out back in, like, what, I think it was 1999, that Chevy had pushed out. They allowed, like, I think 100 drivers to test it out in their area, and were getting constant criticism over this thing because of the fact that it was different, because of the fact that they had claimed that it was supposed to do good for society and all this other crap. People looked at it like it was just the oddball out. I mean, granted, back in 1999, people were a little bit less progressive than they are now, but, I mean, look at today, a lot of other hybrids are coming out. I think it's a matter of time and education, and as certain generations tend to take a back seat, they start to care a little bit less about problems like this. And that will allow for more people to start going, hey, let's take another look.
Well, what I find interesting and kind of what I'm driving at overall is that I don't think there's much argument or debate. Who the fuck has their email on?
Sorry, that would be me, and the fact that Twitter's going ape shit because of Dan.
Not because of me, because someone's wife wants you to calm down.
No.
If they're about ready to have a coronary.
No.
What, so Jesus Christ, man.
Let me turn it off. Hold on.
Fuck.
So,
He's such a titty baby.
Yeah, say no to pants. Would like Shadow to calm down before he has a coronary. And so I just happen to recommend that he go and see a shaman about his paranoia. And then it looks like this dude who, I don't know, he follows me. I don't know who else he follows. Ronan Nolecat.
Oh yeah, you're a little stalker.
Yeah.
It appears that the Lord's one Shadow needs to do something about his paranoia.
Yeah, and he's thinking that our resident shaman Jay Pittman can assist him as well. So it appears that everyone thinks that Shadow needs to go see a shaman about his paranoia.
Are shamans a real thing? Like, do they actually exist?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was like TV bullshit.
Oh.
Cool. Well, it's up there every day.
I got a suggestion for you, given the tone of this podcast, and I'm being serious. Turn the fucking TV off, turn Twitter off, and go read a book.
They ain't got no pictures in them.
Yeah, you're just
check this out.
Nonsense.
So check this out. Check this out, man. I don't think there's much debate with us, our audience, right? That we're certainly getting more technologically advanced.
Oh yeah.
Right. At the same time, increasingly, I'm curious to see if we're getting technologically more literate, and I don't think that's necessarily true. what concerns me, especially with like NASA's announcement, man. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty exciting. Another 1,000 exoplanets, several
It
which.
makes me very hopeful that maybe one year, millions of years in the future, we'll start to colonize some of those things.
Or maybe they already have stuff they're going to colonize us.
Not if we beat them to it. I mean, you got to remember, we are a very war-hungry species.
We don't know what else is out there.
Hey, look, I tell you what.
They could be the Yuzhan Bong.
We've already established that some of us are control freaks.
Yeah.
Right. Check this out. If that species on a different planet happens to be delicious, it's going to be a very quick and easy war.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
Maybe.
But wait, let's go back to a point then. So then why don't you give more of a fuck about the rovers on Mars?
Because fuck that thing. It just sits there. It's not even really collecting as much data as I'd like it to. I want it to find interesting shit. It's analyzing rocks. Like, go down to the ice cap. Tell me what's up there. I want to see that. I mean, granted, yes, the discovery of evidence that water was in fact present on Mars was a huge thing, and I applauded it. I was very proud of my species. And however, I mean, I don't hate curiosity. I'm disappointed in the level of what it's bringing back.
Wait, how many rovers do we have on Mars?
I think like 7 total.
I have no idea.
Well, I'm not talking about just the U.S. or the ones that survived. Is it just 3?
That have been running around for a very long fucking time. Way longer than their required mission.
Yeah,
and to me, beyond any discoveries they've made, which they've made a shitload. Think about the technological advancement we're learning. I mean, right, those things they had mean time to failure, just like every technological device, right? And yet they've persisted, they've survived, and we've figured out how to let them, through minimal instruction, survive in a pretty harsh environment, right?
well, yeah, I mean, survival for a machine is not as fragile as a human, but...
Well, wait, sure it is, man. In fact, it might be more.
Well, okay, if you're designing it to withstand a hostile alien terrain, and you're not intentionally telling it to go drive up a mountain and, kind of slip off the edge, then yeah, it's going to have a greater chance of survival than, say, a team of astronauts trying to colonize a small little 10 by 10 section.
Do you remember? I don't remember which of the 3 it was. Instead of tweeting this motherfucker, why don't you fact check us, Dan? How many rovers do we have? I'm pretty sure it's 3.
3 rovers.
But do you remember? Not too long after one was there, man, its solar panels got covered in dust and it was stuck, and it ran out of battery power. And
There's 4.
Through random chance, the fucking solar winds blew and knocked the dust off the panels, and it got powered up and carried on.
Yep. There's 4 rovers on Mars.
Spirit, Opportunity. What's the other 2? Because the British one crashed and burned.
Well, let's see. We've got Viking 1 and 2.
Those are probes.
Spirit. Did you Opportunity? Did you say Opportunity?
They're called Viking landers, not Viking the what you call it?
Yeah. Did you mention Opportunity?
I did. I said Spirit and Opportunity.
Curiosity, obviously.
You've got
the Phoenix Mars lander, 2008.
Yeah, but then the Mars Science Laboratory Curiosity.
Yeah, I'm
Beagle.
talking about the fucking 6 4-wheeled robots that are rolling around.
Yeah, you got Curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity, Spirit, and Pathfinder.
There you go. That's the other one. Thank you. All right. So what I'm driving towards is we're getting more advanced and we're able to do great shit. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. Within the last 10 years, the thought of putting multiple robots on another planet and having them go around for years on end is miraculous.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's really impressive.
It's a technological feat of our species for sure, and I think it's a great springboard. To get back to what I was driving towards, what I'm interested in is how do we increase our individual literacy in science and technology so that we can actually take advantage of that.
Get more people interested in the subject.
So how do we do that?
Make it entertaining. We have to appeal to the complacent people that are just stuck on their couches. That's the easiest way to do it. And a lot of shows have attempted to do that, like Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, or whatever the hell his name is. You know, it piqued some people's curiosity. I mean, you can't get everybody on board. I mean, there's always those kids that dreaded going to science class. There's kids that dreaded math. My favorite subject at school was lunch. So, I mean...
Clearly.
But,
all right, so how many do we need, right? Let's round it up and say we're at 8 billion people right now. How many do we need?
If we could get the entire amount of connected people on the internet more interested in that, I think we as a species would just flourish in like maybe the next 3 to 4 generations.
What was the question?
How do we get more people interested so that collectively as a species we're more scientifically and technologically literate?
I don't know that it's necessarily an aspect that we need to get more people interested. Even if we took the current, I mean, this comes back to the, we'll say the survival of the fittest, so to speak. If we get the current people that are currently involved in technology to continue to increase their level of awareness, because we only need to make something relevant in technology, we need roughly 18% of those people to continue wanting to increase their
18%, that's pretty fucking specific, man.
Yeah, where are you pulling that random number out of?
So that happens to be the number of when the malicious actors start paying attention to a technology to start writing exploits.
So let's define something, though, right? So
that's how I give it the number.
When we talk about literacy, I'm not talking about people becoming technologists. I'm talking about the general public.
Sure.
If you're a fucking gardener, right?
Yeah.
Being more literate.
Well, then you'd have to make technology more commonplace, even more so than it already is. Right now, we use it for entertainment purposes, and just now starting to scrape the surface of having it as a part of our lives for necessary reasons like medical and health, which I guess that kind of goes in the same department.
So, do you think IoT can push us past that threshold?
So long as it stays the fuck out of my bedroom. I'm not gonna let it go.
Well, wait. Why does it need to stay out of your bedroom?
Because that's my fucking happy place. That's where it stays out of.
Right, but maybe through technology you might be able to perform better.
Dude, if I wanted someone to be involved in that aspect of my life, I could go have some creepy dude do it for free. I don't have to pay Samsung $600 for that.
Who says it has to be Samsung?
That's an interesting proposition, man.
Tony's over in the background going like, "What the fuck?"
We have life coaches, we have business coaches, coaches, right? For athletic performance. Why aren't there sex coaches? Where's Ron Jeremy?
There probably is. There probably is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can talk to somebody about that. Like, I mean, there's been love doctors in the past.
You know why I'm not sure? Because I've never thought about having to look.
Well, true. Me either. But obviously, Shadow needs some type of help so he can stay in the bedroom.
Okay. How are you getting that out of the fact that I want shit out of my bedroom?
His partner is trying to do everything she can to get him into the bedroom.
No, she's trying to make sure I sleep. That's what this is really about.
Yeah, bro. Why don't you sleep more, man?
I don't know what it is that's wrong with me. There's like a shit ton of things constantly flying around in my head, and I can't always focus my thought process when I want to, unless I'm stoned out of my mind. So, I get very obsessive when it comes to solving problems, and that's part of the reason why Dan hired me when he did. Was I don't give up easy. In fact, it's gotten to the point where I have sacrificed my health in order to.
So you realize by sacrificing your health, you're actually sacrificing your capability to solve problems.
You say that, and I recognize that as a correct statement, but there's something fucking wrong in the back of my brain in the give a shit department, and it's like not there.
It's called ego.
I know it needs to be there.
It's called ego.
You might be right, but they don't make a pill for ego unless it's Ritalin and you're staring at a fucking wall.
Wait a minute. In fact, there's lots of substances.
Hold on a second. Hey, Tawny, will you do me a favor? Shut the fuck up.
As a doctor, And a shaman, I'm here to tell you that there's lots of natural substances that can.
Okay, you had my attention as doctor, but when you opened your mouth and said shaman, I got a little worried.
Why?
I don't know what the fucking shaman really is. It sounds like some hippie shit, and it scares me. It's like the Samsung Extra feature.
It's taking a look and utilizing the things that nature provides us.
I already got a drug dealer. I'm good.
well, evidently that one's not to give you the right type.
Well, no, I haven't hit him up in months. So
it's really a part of scientific literacy. What did a shaman do and still does in many parts of the world for a tribe? They looked at the tribe as a whole and as individuals, and they said, okay, you're here, and you want to be here. I'll take you there. That's what shamans do.
In my case, I'm not looking to move laterally. I'm looking to move higher up on the food chain. So you all can continue moving vertically. I went to ascend.
Wow.
That's all right. You get high enough, you're gonna burn, motherfucker. Watch out.
That's okay. I don't. That means I would have to stop dealing with people that are worried about Samsung listening into their bedroom.
That's a legitimate concern. That's why my Xbox doesn't have a Kinect.
It's about maximizing performance, man, and that's part of literacy in my mind.
Well, a Kinect's not going to help me maximize performance.
What?
Well,
what? What'd you say?
I said a Kinect is not going to help me maximize performance.
A Kinect?
Yeah, I said I didn't have one for my Xbox for the same reason that I had the problem with Samsung.
But see, that's not entirely true depending on what kind of performance you're looking at. I mean, professional sports are already utilizing technologies like this, like a Kinect, in order to determine the maximum benefit that they're going to get in terms of everything from cycling, the proper way to swing a baseball bat, to throw the baseball, the mechanics, all that, because they can utilize these technologies to consistently demonstrate and improve performance.
Right. So, Dan, question for you. When you were in the minors, did they have a 3D capture system to assess your swing?
And this was there in 1993. We do this with my golf swings.
Yeah, in cycling they have it too. It's called a retool system.
Yeah. They had all this stuff. It's all over. It was very easy to take a look in terms of the plane in which the bat is swinging, whether or not. Right. And really the biggest one in terms of what they did at that time was determine the proper ounce of bat you should use, because in a vacuum, you would say, because there's no wind resistance, the light, it doesn't matter what you swing, the light, no problem. But at a certain point, you're not going to swing a baseball bat any different if it's 28 ounces or 30 ounces or 34, depending on your makeup. And so you want the heaviest bat possible with the fastest swing speed, because again, we're talking about being able to put another distance out there. So
that's a formula for power. So check this out. Yeah. So in cycling, the first system, there's many now. The first one was called Retool. And you get on your bike on a trainer, like you've seen me, and they put markers on your joints, and the system measures geometry. It's all geometry. It's all angles and shit like that to get you placed onto the bike for maximum power output. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember when that system was invented, but it's been around a while. And you can get it done as anybody, right? But man, it's like $500-600 to go to a place to get that done. All right. So a couple years ago, some fools figured out, well, wait a minute. You know what has the ability to capture emotion? An iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they wrote an app, right, to do essentially the same thing. So this is what I mean. This is my point with this. And I'm sure the same shit exists for golf and baseball and all kinds of stuff now. It has to.
Definitely does for golf, because they do it when I go to my golf pro.
Right, and I mean an app you can put on your own device. So I have this app, and I have it on a tablet, and you can sit it on a tripod. I put it on a tripod or whatever, and it'll capture the exact same shit that Retool system does. Okay, so we have technological advancement, but if you don't have the scientific literacy and the technological literacy to interpret the data that comes out of that system, you can't make the adjustments in the right way. It's actually really easy to fuck up. So when I first did that, man, I went back and increased my literacy by studying geometry, and there's actually an enormous amount, as you know. Scientific literature around sports performance, cycling has a ton, and specifically this area, and it all comes down to math.
Absolutely.
And
always
biomechanics. Does. So in order to use that properly to increase my own personal performance, I had to increase my scientific my technological literacy, I mean, I knew how to use the tablet. It wasn't that bad already because I was already familiar with it. But the basic scientific literacy had to be increased.
Mm-hmm. All very true.
So how about, like, for instance, your viewing angle on your nice Samsung 4K Shadow?
Mm-hmm.
How did you figure out how far away to put that for perfect viewing performance?
It said it right on Amazon's website that it was 4 feet 8 inches from the center back.
So did you measure it?
Yeah.
So
and then I completely disregarded it after I mounted it on my wall.
Wait, what?
You believed Amazon, huh?
I tested it. I didn't believe it. I tried it. There's a difference.
What'd you do?
Believing
Tell
is
us.
sitting there and bragging about the fact that, I said exactly 4 point whatever because Amazon told me to. No, I tested it to see exactly what it was. I got a little tape measure out.
How'd you test it? Specific.
I took a tape measure out and measured the exact distance from the TV to my body, well, mainly my head, and then went and took the tape measure, put a diagonal to get what it was quote-unquote called the center of it from its stupid viewing angle as opposed to the edge of the bezel. And I sat back and I watched Flowers in 4K on Netflix, streaming through Ethernet, not Wi-Fi. And I have to admit, it was some pretty damn amazing Flowers. The quality was pretty spot on. After which point, I had my maintenance guy mount it to the wall and haven't given a fuck about it since.
So you didn't mount it yourself?
No, I paid someone to do it. Because that's the American way.
What?
Hey,
all right, man. So wait, you increased your scientific literacy there, right? I mean, you essentially did an informal experiment.
I wanted to see what the claim was about. I wanted to see if it held any legitimacy. I tested it myself. Granted, it wasn't the most scientifically accurate test ever, but it was good enough to the point where I could definitely experience the result which they were claiming.
Sure. Sweet. All right, so I have another question for us. This is more technological literacy, because we all go to DEF CON. What do you guys think about the research that gets presented there? Do you think it's actual research? I mean, Dan and I have a different opinion of what really is research, obviously, right?
Well, here's the thing. When they present research, a lot of it's just slides on a PowerPoint and then essentially reading those slides to you. What I find interesting is that a lot of these talks have a very distinct lack of actual physical data to present what it is that they're talking about. And I've noticed that when you ask certain people that gave a talk that specific year about their talk, or the previous year before them, they either A, tell you they don't have any time to talk about it, B, get the fuck away from me, I'm calling a goon over here, or C, they'll make some bullshit up as to what it was they were talking about on the fly. I have yet to come across anybody that has sat me down in the capacity that I've done to others and talked their ear off about a subject and walked them through the data as opposed to, just whatever bullshit it is that they're doing nowadays, where they just blurt it out and say, look what I found, here's proof of concept, here's a little demonstration, bye.
What do you think, Dan?
Well, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, there are the exceptions out there, but in a lot of these cases, it's vulnerability research is not scientific research. I could say it is you might use portions of it, but they miss a lot of the actual reasons as to why they are doing something. They're just looking for exploits in a lot of these cases. Hey, look, here's this. Now the ones where it used to be, back in the day when this was a location where people were announcing new open source tools that were being used in order to make, again, our technology lives better at finding holes in our places of employment. Back then, yeah, I think they were doing real research back then because they had a problem. They went through, in this case, even though it wasn't literature, but in a lot of ways, well, yeah, it still was a literature review. They were going out and they're trying to find ways in which to make things better. They had a problem, they had a purpose for doing it, and then they had to start testing this tool to determine whether or not it was actually going to provide the required results that based on what their, whatever their hypothesis was. In this case, take a look at all the vulnerability scanners. I mean, the reason why Nessus was so popular was because it was new, at the time when they first presented these things. Same thing with Metasploit and all that. At those times, things were much better. Now, I can't. There may be something I'm missing, but I can't recall the last time a brand new open source tool was actually presented at DEF CON. I can't remember.
Well, you know, for me, man, kind of what I sit back and watch, you and Brandon, I think you just have recently started going, right?
I've been there for 4 years. This will be my 5th year.
Yeah. All right. So I'm even back. I mean, I think I started going at like DC 10 or some shit.
Yeah, I was right around the same time. I missed a couple here and there, but I've been to 15.
Yeah, you know, I never remember anybody being really clear about their methodology, how they went about doing what they did, in a more rigorous framework sense. It's always been, here's this problem and here's how I solved it. And I'm not saying that's bad. It's just different. Or here's this thing I built to do this thing. Again, not bad, right? And a lot of times it's very clever, especially in the hacker motif, right? Or the hacker zeitgeist. What I find myself wanting, which I think is kind of what Brandon was saying, and maybe what you're saying, is an increase in the rigor, the presentation rigor of, here's how I did what I did.
Yeah, to me, for this to be considered valid, true scientific research, I need to be able to repeat their process.
Yep.
Yeah, well, because you know, one thing I've kind of wondered about too is, for a long time, for a long time, there's within this subculture, there's been this decrying of script kiddies, people that just push buttons to get effects, and yet that's exactly what we produce as a subculture through these presentations, because we don't share how we did what we did. We don't share the framework and the steps that we suffered through to achieve a result, whatever that result is, right? Which is interesting, right? Side point, by the way, there's a very popular argument going on right now in scientific literature, academic literature, about major journals only publishing positive results, that journals don't want to publish negative results, which you and I, and Brandon, you should recognize that a negative result is a result. It has significance to, you know, well, it has practical and theoretical significance.
I don't know why they don't know why they put this aspect of positive or negative. It's just a result.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was just about to say. There is no meaning between whether or not it was a success or failure. It still counts. That's the only difference between fucking around versus actual science, is you record everything.
All right, so we agree. So think about all the presentations that happen at these subculture conferences. And it's not just DEF CON, it's the whole subculture. Have you ever seen, because I haven't, and I've looked at the ones I don't go to, that I've never been to, I've missed, whatever, right? Have you ever seen somebody present failure?
Actually,
I have.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, and I don't remember the exact talk, but in terms of who it was, but there was a company that was looking. They were doing research on the pico cells that we would put in our homes, and it was a Samsung one on Verizon that they believed that you could literally, if you had one of these, you could intercept any phone call anywhere because of the signal strength going out. And they went through the amount of failures they had until they were able to actually get it to work. And they went through in pretty good detail as to everything they did. But that's the only one that I can remember that comes to mind. So 1 out of hundreds.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Brandon?
So I went to a little offshoot party, the 2600 Telefreak party, my first year at DEF CON. This is DEF CON 20. And in the smoker lounge that we had kind of sectioned off from the rest of the party, there was a guy sitting on a little chase lounge thing and had his laptop up front, had his legs sprawled out over the sides so that way everybody could get around him to see what was on his screen. And I was too far back to hear the entire little mini talk that he was giving, but he was explaining something to do with cryptology and how he was constantly failing at trying to detect a certain pattern, despite the fact that his theory was that he could detect that pattern, and showed about maybe 6 months worth of straight failure, and said, and I quote, "This right here, this was my Edison moment, when I had finally made the light bulb." And then he showed the first success, and then followed by a shit ton more success. So he had found his variable that was a success and ran with it, and sure enough, he ended up finding something that allowed him to achieve what his goal was. So,
question for you: Did you learn more from that?
I was grateful to see that he was willing to show what it was that he showed. Like I said, unfortunately, I was too far back to retain a lot of that information. I'm pretty sure if I looked him up and asked him about it, he'd be more than happy to explain it, and I would probably learn a lot from it.
That's interesting, man.
I actually should hit him up now that I think about it.
You know, especially in technology, man, there's so much crossover. And again, what I worry about is that we're getting more technologically advanced. In our subculture, we have concerns, and we're pushing the envelope in lots of ways. But there's not necessarily a commensurate increase in literacy, right? Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I think that if we can just, it's like Dan said, it's not necessarily about getting more people interested in it. It's, I guess, making information more available to people, and those that are curious could seek it out. And if they want to, you know, add more shit to the pile, great. If not, well, that's unfortunate, but it's part of life.
Well, like, you know, I have friends that don't work in tech, but they're literate, so I could take them to DEF CON, and they may not understand everything. They're not proficient, but they're literate enough to ask intelligent questions. They're intelligent enough. They're literate enough to ask informed questions, and that's what I mean by literacy. Not that they're going to be a professional, but that they can engage in a meaningful conversation about something.
You know, I've run across a lot of people between Florida and Tucson that are of all walks of life. I've learned that if you can find something that interests them pertaining to their day in and day out life, whether it's a way to achieve something that you're not supposed to have because it's either, you know, considered taboo, illegal, or unethical, a good portion of people were more interested in learning how to achieve not exactly that, but just, you know, get an understanding as to how that kind of technology works or the process behind it. Others are more interested in what technology can do for them, as opposed to the other way around. And that's not exactly the wrong way of thinking, it's just the consumer model of what they're used to. If you can show them that they can take, you know, a piece of crap laptop that has been, you know, outdated for 10 years and give it new life with a Linux operating system and, you know, make it somewhat usable again, you know, people are going to be like, well, hey, I didn't have to go and buy a new laptop. That's pretty cool. And they'll start asking better questions.
Right. Well, here's an example of what I mean to kind of cap this off, and I think we're about done. You know, because of the basic literature education we all go through, at least in public school and undergrad, you know, I could ask the three of us to describe why Batman versus Superman was way better than Captain America: Civil War.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What?
Because it was.
Well,
hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up.
And we could have a meaningful conversation, even though none of us are film critics, right? Because we're trained to think in a critical way about entertainment media, right? In this case, film, or we could read the comics and debate the exact same fucking thing, right? What lacks in our basic fundamental education right now is a development of scientific and technological literacy.
Well, maybe, but we first have to go back to the one thing, because I haven't seen the one movie. Any movie that has an actor that has literally ruined 3 superheroes cannot even be in the discussion.
I don't know who you're referring to.
Ben Affleck.
Oh, come on, man. Batman vs. Superman was way better than Civil War. Way better.
I haven't seen Civil War yet. But
Jason,
Ben Affleck has killed off 3 superheroes now. He's made them all horrible.
Jason,
Well, yeah.
are you coming to DEF CON 24 this year?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to see you there. We're going to have some talk.
I'll have some shaman medicine for you.
All right, can you name the 3 superheroes that Ben Affleck has destroyed?
The only other one I remember him ever doing was Daredevil.
Yeah, but he also destroyed Elektra. Because he's married to her.
Speaking of which, if you have seen Captain America: Civil War, don't say anything about it. I'm going to go watch it today.
I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't say it was a bad film. I'm saying that I've seen both, and in my personal opinion, and I could articulate why maybe next week, if you want to talk about it after you see this, or whenever we all see it, why I think Batman versus Superman is superior.
First off, do you favor DC over Marvel?
Nope. I only collected Marvel and Image comics as a kid.
Okay. I don't like your statement. I don't agree with it. I haven't seen Civil War yet, but it makes me angry for a lot of reasons.
Because we've already established you're an angry person that needs to go see a shaman.
I don't need a fucking shaman. I'm perfectly fucking fine.
No, I have got
Right.
like 10. I've got like 10 tweets here from your significant other
I don't give a shit.
telling
I'm
you
about
to
to go
calm
beat this
down.
woman's ass.
She's worried that you're going to die from a coronary because you're so paranoid and angry all the time.
Because he doesn't sleep enough, man. Because he doesn't sleep enough.
See, and I don't need a shaman to tell me that. I'm able to collect that on my own.
Yeah, but
All right.
you're not able to fix it, evidently, on your own.
Exactly.
I could develop a drinking habit. That'd take care of it.
Have you? Jesus Christ.
Yes, you probably could develop one, but it would be the right type of drink.
Have you tried
Illegal.
melatonin supplements?
I've tried, what is it, sativa and weed? I forget what the fuck it's called. I haven't.
Sativa.
Yeah.
Sativa.
Sativa? Okay.
That's the wrong one. Indica.
Indica's supposed to be the one. Okay. I figured it was one of those two. I just couldn't remember which one it was. It's been a while since I've watched any pot-related crap on TV. So
I've read that approximately 5 milligrams of indica consumed orally, not smoked, eat it, will help your sleep problems.
You know, I just recently had seen something about pure THC oil and how it's like way more potent, but it's meant for medication, not for the purpose of getting high.
You know, actually, there's a lot of science coming out right now. The real side topic. I don't fuck it. Whatever. People have started experimenting with eating marijuana buds. So you don't get high off this, but you eat it, and you get apparently some. I don't know how much. I haven't gotten that deep into the literature yet. Of the benefits of the plant itself. That way, I mean, you eat it like a salad, so you're not going to get high off of it.
Have you ever eaten a bud straight? Like, it tastes just, ugh. It's disgusting.
I haven't tried either.
Don't.
Anything
It's
with
not
the-
worth it. Like, it doesn't do anything for you. I didn't feel any awesome effects. I didn't feel any kind of medical benefits.
Dude, because you probably needed to eat 300 pounds of it.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I just put some ranch on it, it'd be okay. But
That's a T-shirt right there. I put ranch on my weed.
Yeah.
No, man. If you haven't tried it, dude, melatonin.
you know, I did try it once. My roommate in Florida had some, and he knew I had a sleeping issue back then.
Exercise will also help, man.
I've also attempted that, but I've gotten really lazy because
Yeah. We haven't
Yeah.
seen any progress reports up on Twitter recently.
that's because I haven't flashed my balls recently. My bad. I'll get on that.
Hey, if you just hook back up your TV, we wouldn't have to be asking for it. It would automatically set it up for us.
Well played.
See, that's the
Well
thing.
played.
I've got a Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and I recently tried to install a stock OEM-based ROM to test out some features for the TV. As soon as I did that and I signed back into my little S-Health shit, all of my crap started going to my TV, and I had to rip the battery out of my fucking phone because I didn't want to look at it. It bothered the fuck out of me.
Have you tried meditation?
Why are you laughing for?
Because I'm waiting for the fucking scream.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna give it to you, little asshole.
You should, man. Take some deep breaths. Relax, bro. You got too much
you are
energy.
Angry. Hey, you don't take. I hope you don't take your anger out on anyone that happens to be living in your household.
Shut up, Tony.
Hey, you know, another thing you could try, man, and I'll finish with this before I go too far. Hey, binaural beats. You can get a little app, put it on a certain wavelength, man, and just listen to it in the dark.
I could just listen to music.
No, man, it doesn't have the same effect.
Music makes me feel good.
Man, this motherfucker's like a doc student that just wants to argue.
Well, and there's a reason why those students don't ever pass.
That's all right. If you were the teacher, I'm surprised anybody passed.
Actually,
Which
and
one of
I
us are
don't-
you talking to?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, I have not yet bestowed anyone worthy enough to walk the stage with me being their chair.
So you're saying you don't have any positive success rate whatsoever with your students?
Oh, I think it's completely positive because I prevented people that were not worthy from being granted the title.
That's a beautiful way of wording that if you were a politician. Unfortunately, you're a teacher, sir.
No,
Why the
this
fuck?
is a different. There's a difference between a class versus whether or not I'm willing to sign my name to a document stating that I believe that they were worthy to be bestowed upon that title.
Yeah,
That's
And I
not
have
true.
not yet found someone.
That's not true, though. Well, you said as a chair. As
Yeah.
a community member, you have a couple this weekend, right?
Yeah, as a committee member, but I look at that being quite different because
Yeah,
those people were
that's
just
true.
ones that you chaired. I
still have
was
the record.
comfortable with that.
I think I still have the record, man.
Yeah. So the big difference between the two. People pass my classes, but that doesn't mean I'm willing to be their chair and allow them to be granted the title.
Yeah, it's
Aren't you just a little stick in the mud?
completely
Hey.
different standard of work.
Yeah. It's my name. It's my reputation.
Well, do a better job at teaching them then.
Oh, this is not teaching. That's the whole part. It's their study. This is not
Dan
a
has a
teaching
commitment
aspect.
problem.
Yeah.
Dan has a commitment.
Yeah.
a commitment
I'm not going to comment on that.
I want to make sure that only the worthy have my name on it.
It's nice when you have the power to actually judge that, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like I had some friends.
absolutely.
Do you just want to get her on mic, man? I can send her an invite.
No, I really just want her to shut the fuck up, but she's going to keep commenting like,
What's her
Love
email,
her.
man? I'll send her an invite right now.
I'm not going to give you her email.
I've got her email address.
I bet you do.
Next week.
I've been trying to tell her to quit talking to you, but she just don't fucking listen.
Next week, man, I think we should have her on.
Yeah, we'll have her on.
Not Brandon.
No.
Yep.
I'm calling up T-Mobile right now and getting her shit cut off.
Should just use your TV.
It ain't got no webcam and mic, so I'm good.
Are you
It
sure?
does have one. You just disabled it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I actually watched several teardowns of this specific model. I know for a fact it doesn't.
Oh my God, man. Dude,
How do you
that's
know
what I'm
for a
talking
fact
about.
if you haven't done it yourself?
Because I don't want to tear this TV apart, because it's really fucking pretty, and I
Do you not
know
have the skills? Do you not have the skills to do so and be able to properly put it back together?
I don't have the correct tools for the TV. I've got it for mobile phones and laptops, but I'm not willing to attempt this on a television of that size.
How could it be that different, man? It's just a
Right.
big tablet.
Because it's a really fragile fucking screen, and I'm kind of aggressive.
You have a warranty?
Well, again, aggressive, anger,
Stop
paranoia.
being such a pansy! Grow some nuts!
Anger, paranoia. Wow. You will make a good disciple to the dark side. All right, so I think that we've got about enough. What are we at, episode 16? Is that what this
Yeah,
was?
this is episode 16, man, in the can.
All right. So next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 1 o'clock. Mainly because that was more of an aspect of, Superman versus Batman probably is still better than anything with Captain America and
Oh, you can suck a big floppy donkey dick.
Jesus Christ, man. This dude's angry. He hasn't even seen it yet.
I like my Captain America. Cool.
Hey, I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm saying the Batman versus Superman movie was better. And I can articulate exactly why once you see them both.
I'm trying
All right.
really hard. to
So
like-
actually, we'll ask his better half what her real opinion is.
No,
Just before we go
because
on
she's
to
gonna
that.
troll the fuck out of me with that one. She's like, "Dan's right. I'm gonna go with Batman." Ha!
I see no issue with that at all.
Of course you do, you little fuck.
All right, everyone. Episode 16 in the bag.
Next week, we'll talk about Tech IQ. We'll transition into how you take literacy and actually put it into action.
Great, I'm gonna fail that class too.
Dude, you got to calm down, man.
No surprise there. All right, everyone.
All right,
Take care.
everybody. Have a good weekend. Later.
Bye.